Katy Mimari is the CEO and founder of Caden Lane, a monster 9-figure baby apparel, goods, gifts brand. They sell a lot of things for babies is the point. Hey, there's a baby right there in the background of my house. And Katy is awesome. She is building a really great company. She's doing it with a whole lot of candidness about what she has learned along the way. And you have a lot to learn from her. Like so many of the people I've been most interested in talking to recently on this show, she did not blitz scale to $100 million last year. She has been building this company for 20 years and has learned a lot in the process. You're going to learn a lot from Katy Mimari. We're going to talk a lot, I think, about product in this episode, about sourcing, launching, designing, doing a great job at the level of product in a business like this. That is everything. And so we're going to talk about it. Let's not delay it anymore. Katy Mimari from Caden Lane. Hello, Katy. Did I properly say what you guys sell in the intro?
Yeah, I mean, you stumbled a little bit, but the baby screaming in the background made it really real. That was awesome.
I know, it's perfect timing. That's actually not even my baby. That's a baby that my wife watches once a week. There's a friend of ours' baby.
You rent babies? Like, why would you do that? And that's insane.
Yeah, we have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Well, I don't do it, first of all, and I will take no credit for it. My wife does. But yeah, a couple from our church that we're real good friends with who need one day of help per week, and we're very happy to do it because we love their baby. So
Aww.
She's awesome. So yeah.
That's
I mean, and again, I'm saying we. My wife is very happy to do it, and because she's a champ. Okay, Katy, I'm really excited to talk about this. I want to go all the way back to the beginning to start. Why did you start Caden Lane in, I almost said 1995, in 2005?
You are really trying to date me. So before we even started recording this podcast, everybody, he confirmed how long the business has been running. And I said 20 years. And he goes, oh, so you started it in 1995. And
yeah, can't do subtraction.
Yeah. Do I look like I started?
No, you don't.
I could have started it. I would have been in high school, right? In the mid 90s. So I could have. But no, Andrew, 2004 actually is when I started. So we really just celebrated our 21st birthday. We're like the, we're like the longest overnight success ever.
I mean, I really love that. This is like really a thing I've been thinking so much about recently. I have this little theory right now that a lot of like D2C growth content and meta ads content and stuff like that is like a hidden or disguised like get rich quick scheme. That's so many people talk about this idea. I had this ad and it popped off and this is how you got to do it to grow your spend 300% or whatever it is. You know, we got to $50 million in a year too. And like, those stories, some of those stories are people I know and like they're real. But they're just
they all have hero products. And I'm like, what is this hero product you speak of? So you did all that revenue off of one SKU. And they're like, yeah, but oh my gosh, I would love to have product expansion. And I'm like, hey, asshole, I have like 6,000 product SKUs I have to pitch at any given time on Meta. I would die to have one hero product. So the grass is not ever greener. Like I will say that. Right.
Yeah, well, it's funny though, because you say, you know, you're the 20-year overnight success story, but it's like, and I'm convinced that like, we got to like, I'm actually going to start even hunting down entrepreneurs who I think are doing a great job with us to put them on, feature their stories a little bit more because, you know, it's just like, I love talking about it. Yeah. Well, I love talking about a 9-figure success story, but I love framing it as a 20-year 9-figure success story because you can grow a big business. And I like the ambition. I think it's great. It's just, I just think the expectation should be reasonable. So go back to that. Why'd you start it? And how did it get going?
Well, and also like, to that point, I'll tell you, like in 21 years, I've lost count how many times I've redefined the business, right? It's always been Caden Lane. Always. But our product assortment, our go-to-market strategy, like everything has changed so many times and in really big ways. And not because we wanted to, it was really because it was a force, right? That if we wanted to keep going and growing, then we had to embrace change. So, but I started it right out of college. And the honest answer is I just wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to run a company and I thought it'd be really cool to have a product that could be sold anywhere. I did not have an epiphany of some like amazing product. And I had always worked in the like children's industry. And I love babies and that was just natural to me. My friends were having babies. I was in the cat age category and so I started Caden Lane and then got pregnant my first year. So
perfect.
Became
customer. Yeah. both in the hardest thing, and I bet in some ways, I'm sure that was the best thing for the business in terms of your experience of the journey and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh. Well, this was like prior to ecom. So I was and our first product was diaper bags. So I was the pregnant girl, at market in New York selling diaper bags to Nordstrom. And it turns out it was brilliant. Like they believe pregnant people that this is exactly what we want,
Yeah.
So it was good. Awesome. And I actually had to go door to door my first orders. I mean, like it's old school. I did it the old school. Nordstrom would fax orders to us. Fax. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Let's
talk about like in a 20-year journey, you can't hit like everything, but tell me about the big inflection points. So probably part of it was like, you just mentioned Nordstrom and stuff like that, but like, were there big moments that sort of like were unlocks along the way that stand out to you as you look back on that journey?
Oh, absolutely. So when we started off, we were just a wholesale, traditional wholesale model. So our goal was to sell to brick and mortar and, large shops like Nordstrom. Bye Bye Baby was around back then. And e-commerce was just starting up. So we had a lot of large kind of drop ship online accounts. And I did that for 10 years. And very successfully. I thought I was crushing it. We were doing like 5 to 10 million in sales. I was like, oh my God, I'm living the dream. Like this is, we're so big. But we managed through the 2008, 2009 financial crisis. I spent a lot of nights crying in the bathtub with a glass bottle of wine. And I remember just in tears saying, this is it, like that my company's over. I'm not going to make it anymore. Like, it had its ups and downs more than I can count. And more, this podcast isn't long enough to tell you all the stories of it. But
I'm sure.
Towards the end of my first 10 years, which I feel like it feels like a marriage to me, right? Like my relationship with my company is very complicated because sometimes I love it. Sometimes it exhausts me. Sometimes I want to punch it in the face, like all the things. And I started to get burned out around year probably 8. And that was when e-commerce was really exploding. And I felt like my company was dependent on these buyers that would come to market and decide what was popular or not. And I knew that we could be bigger. I felt like I had a really good pulse on my customer, and which was a young mom, having her first baby, even the grandmas. We had a brick and mortar store at the time. And I made a decision in 2016 to completely close down our wholesale side of our business. And we opened up our first Shopify store. And we sent an email out on December 31st of 2016. And it literally said, thank you so much for your business. We appreciate all your time. We are closing down wholesale and going and leaning into e-commerce. And over those years, which I know we're going to talk about product a little, which I love because truly like Caden Lane started as a diaper bag company. And the first year we evolved into crib bedding. So this was back before like the Product Safety Commission was saying that like all this stuff in cribs kills babies. Like we would put pillows and blankets and all the things. Now it's like crib sheet. That's it. But we had a very large crib bedding business. And after 2009, when stores were really struggling with expensive products, they were begging us for gifty items. And that was when we really first started to transition from our high AOV products into smaller, lower giftable items. And then when we launched our website, that was the first time really we went into apparel, and we were manufacturing in the US at the time. And we leaned into like newborn outfits and personalized swaddles and baby shower gifts like bibs and burps and hooded towels. And slowly our diaper bags had already been discontinued completely. And our bedding was starting to just trickle out. So as a brand, we've evolved in products so many times. It's crazy. And we actually just had a full circle last year and launched diaper bags again, which was
amazing.
A really
How did it go?
Yeah. Great. It went great.
Good.
Yeah. Well,
Good.
So now it's like perspective. So now when we launch a new product, like if it doesn't do like 10 million in a month or not a month, a quarter, we're like, maybe this isn't worth it. And I have to stop myself and be like, no, this is a really great product. It's just not as high of volume as maybe something else. So product expansion is like our favorite thing to do. That's the most fun thing in our industry for sure.
When I look at Caden Lane's store, my mentality is like,
you're overwhelmed.
Is like, well, yes, but also it's what it should be. Like what in your space a 9-figure brand looks like. And so, but the thing that occurred to me is that you didn't go from diaper bags to 6,000 SKUs overnight.
No.
And I think there's just a lot of conversation. I was actually just talking with my business partner just like this morning about this notion that different brands have different kind of growth pathways and strategies, right? If you're a supplement brand, then it's just all about hammer the funnel into oblivion and make sure your LTV is good and deploy absolutely as many marketing dollars as you possibly can, and then ride the LTV to giant revenue numbers, right? Great. That's one
Andrew,
playbook.
I didn't even know what LTV was until 2021.
Yeah, sure. I mean, nobody did. I was making content in 2016 or something like that about like, here's how you define what your CPA is, and it was like, nobody knew anything. It's actually I say this all the time. It's one of the reasons I'm bullish on e-commerce is like the industry is just so much smarter than it was when I started. It's not even close.
I can't even keep up with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every year they'll pick a new special word. Like right now, the word of the year, it feels like a Sesame Street episode, but it's on Twitter and it's from then. And this year's word of the year is incrementality.
It sure is. Yeah. Sure is. Yeah. Sponsored by the number 9 for 9 figures in revenue.
Totally.
And a business like yours, the reason I'm also not overwhelmed is that is the muscle you have to build. Yeah. You have to figure out how to launch product and to get it in front of your customers and to do product expansion and enter new categories. And once you enter the category, then keep nourishing the category and all those kinds of things. That is the only way in your space. You're not going to make a better ad that's going to make it so that your diaper bag goes from $1 million to 100 million, right? Like there's just going to be some kind of limit on that, I think. I don't know. Maybe there's some, you would know better than I would.
I have a really good story about that.
Go ahead.
Actually,
yeah, please.
Which I think is something that will resonate with a lot of people. So when we switched to e-commerce only, and that's when we saw rapid growth. So it's really been since like 2017 that we've had the massive amounts of growth. And that was starting back at zero. So that our first year online on Shopify, we did $1 million, and that was spending $0 on marketing. So that was pure, just like brand, people just Googling Caden Lane, right? And coming to our website. But the product assortment we had when we launched it was all about the newborn first photo. So like our hero product at the time were little knot gowns, like they're just like sacks that you put on a newborn. Yeah. And a personalized swaddle and a name sign. It was everything that was in their first photo, which I'm sure your wife did of your babies too at the hospital. And we grew to probably close to 30 million just on those on newborn products. Yeah. And what I didn't know, and truly when I tell you I didn't know this, like I thought we were just crushing it with those products. I was like, oh my God, like, yes, this is it. Like every newborn is going to have Caden Lane in their first baby photo. And then like an epiphany, I was like, wait, I'm literally handing these customers to my competitors that are doing larger sizes because all I had was something to sell to somebody that had a newborn. Yeah. And so that was really, our first kind of taste of product expansion online. We had already gone through different products as needed, or like even what the market demanded, I think is what was really driving our product decision making like in the first 10 years. But then after that, and the way we think about it now is, what does the roadmap of our customer look like? Like what else is she buying? And how can we lean into her on that? And that alone is what drives most of our product expansion is, okay, as baby grows, like when it's a newborn, what do they wear when they're 12 months old? What do they transition into when they're 2 and 3? How does the family think about baby shower gifts? Like what are new moms gifting? What are grandmas buying for their grandbabies? And so literally being able to understand what the LTV it was of my customer and trying to fill those holes with products tripled our LTV within a year.
Sure. Of course. Because the baby's going to grow and there's going to need to be within a year triple that. Yeah. Wow. That's insanity. If you want your supply chain to work better, and you do, then you should be talking to my friends at Move Supply Chain. Move Supply Chain is a supply chain agency, just like AJF Growth is a growth agency, meta ads agency, whatever you want to call us. Move Supply Chain is a supply chain agency, but wonderfully, they are based in the Philippines. And there are all kinds of reasons that is a huge advantage for you. First of all, they were built on the back of US-based e-commerce businesses, like literally came out of running supply chains in US-based e-commerce businesses from the Philippines. So they really understand the space. They've been in a lot of different supply chains. They understand. But secondly, that means it's affordable because your money goes so far getting really high quality Filipino talent, and they have great talent with deep supply chain resumes. They understand what to do. But third, and this is the thing that I think is really underrated, is that they are in East Asia, in the Philippines, Southeast Asia. And therefore, getting to China or Vietnam is like an hour and a half flight with no visa issues, etc., because they're right there in the Philippines. That means, like, in the last week, I was talking to my friend Laura Guevara, who you've heard on this show, who leads Move Supply Chain, and she was headed to Canton Fair to go just meet with vendors, including the vendor for my brand, because Move Supply Chain built the supply chain for the brand that I'm starting. They're just great. You put all that together, and here's what they can do for you. They can take on for you the optimization of your supply chain around every part of the business where it matters, which includes things like negotiating vendor terms, finding new manufacturers, new product development, and how to source and sample with new manufacturers and for new products. They can help you think about lowering your MOQs, negotiate pricing, all the things that will make your business run more efficiently and smoothly. They will help you think through where the biggest opportunities are for your supply chain. If you're running an e-commerce business that is like less than $20 million in revenue, I just bet there are huge inefficiencies that Move Supply Chain can help you with, and they can do it at an affordable price. And that is the reason you should at least get on the phone with them. So go to movesupplychain.com, movesupplychain.com, get on a call, talk to them about what your needs are, what you're looking for, get them thinking about your brand, and see if there's an opportunity there for them to help you with your supply chain. They're great. I love them. MoveSupplyChain.com. It's important to repeat in that story is that the path to your LTV growth was not like a better email, or like more email sends. That stuff is valuable. I like tactics, but this is sort of part of why I wanted to have you on. It was like this notion of like finding what your customer cares about and thinking about product. So when you did that, and maybe even still when you guys release product, how are you thinking about not just this customer needs product when their baby turns 1 year old or whatever, and they get older, but like, what is the right product for that baby? Do you guys have any kind of a product testing on release kind of plan, or is there a research process? Like, just talk to me through product development and product release from that sort of like find the right fit angle.
Well, okay. So that's a great point. So like we do a lot of pajamas, and we didn't invent pajamas, right? And we do bamboo pajamas, which is everywhere. There's 1,000 brands that do the exact same thing. So what is going to differentiate us from them? And there is a couple of things that we really do lean into. Like we try to make sure that our brand quality is there and that it is what I guess people expect when they get Caden Lane. I mean, I for sure, actually my product team is constantly buying like the cheap stuff on Amazon or competitors just to make sure that we're really thinking of every little thing. But we didn't invent the wheel. Like there's no IP behind our product. There's no patents behind our product. It's truly just keeping our customer in mind and what she needs. Even before really bamboo pajamas existed, the thing with children's pajamas is they have to be extremely tight fitting because they have to be either that or use chemicals to be fire retardant, basically. And it's always been a struggle for moms to put pajamas on their kids' heads and arms and legs, because if you have fat kids like I did, it was like squeezing, right? Like biscuits and back into the can. Like
absolutely.
It wasn't going to happen. And so using this bamboo fabric gave us the ability to, one, that it's better for their skin. It had all these different attributes to it that made it very marketable, but it also made it a better product. And I think that we've always been very print driven, our company. Which we can be. So we're a baby company and we sell baby products, but we're actually selling to the moms. Like no 2-year-old is on their iPhone picking out what pajamas.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. So it's a little bit complicated in our industry because we're actually like selling baby products, but to the mom who's making the decision, but the baby's wearing it. So the baby has to sleep better in it. The baby has to enjoy it, right? And all the things. So, and then gifting is a huge part of our business too, which is very different than like running a CPG brand, right? Where you're using it, you're consuming it. And tracking customer life of gifting is hard too. So I've really complicated my life and my brand.
It's the only way.
You know what else is really cool about having multi products, I think, for a brand? To me, feels like a safety net, is that if something rises really fast and it's very trendy, your whole company is based on that. And I feel like I've got a couple different product categories that if all of a sudden, right, people were like, I don't want to buy swimsuits for my kids anymore. It's okay because we have different kind of like arms of our brand that we can continue to grow. I mean, who knows? If I had just always stuck with newborn and not expanded into different product categories, I'm not sure I would have continued to grow to our size.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you wouldn't have. Yeah, I think that's super interesting. And then do you guys have any process for like when you launch new product, sort of a, well, actually I have a number of questions. So first of all, let me ask, what is the timeline from idea to product release for Caden Lane?
We're so fast.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This is okay. I'm very interested in this.
Yeah. So I would say from ideation to actually like launching on our website, 4 months max.
That's very fast. Okay. What about
used to be faster, but my CFO is a process. She's obsessed with process. And so now we use actually Airtable to do all of our launches. We do 2 launches a week. So we'll launch, massive amounts. Like we love that. We love to complicate our lives. But yeah, so process slowed us down a bit, but I still think we're faster to market than anybody else.
Oh, that's ridiculously fast. So let's talk about that a little bit. How did you get that fast? So one of my questions is like, was that a goal to make that turnaround time as fast as possible? I assume so, if it's that quick.
Yeah, well, yes. I think early on we were always watching the trends very closely. And so it gave us a huge advantage to beat Target baby or right, like Carter's maybe. Because we could take a high trend and get it to market faster. That always has worked to our advantage. I also like to think of it as kind of we're doing the trend setting instead of following the trend setting.
Yeah, especially ear size now for sure.
Yeah, and you have to be quick. You don't ever want to be the last one to be doing the color that's popular or the print that's popular or whatever. But also speed to market. Yeah, I mean, it's my senior product designer has been with me for 8 years. She's amazing. She's like worked side by side with me forever. And one thing we're really good at is we don't overthink things. Like we're constantly using the analogy of throwing spaghetti at the wall. And so we'll source out multiple different products all the way down to sampling them. We have our whole product design like section in our office is a disaster. It looks like a garage. It looks like we're hoarders. It's terrible. But we don't fall in love with an idea, right? Like we chase it down, get it all the way to it. Eventually, truthfully, what keeps a product in the roadmap is us then going into, okay, this is a great product. How can we market it? Because since we're online, right? Like we've got to think about content. We are a really great marketing agency that happens to sell really cute baby products. And so a lot of times it's, okay, well, what's the story? What problem are we solving with this? Like, how do we differentiate ourselves from the competitors? And does this photograph well, right? Like, so if you ever, sometimes I'll go to market with our store and we buy a lot of like seasonal apparel just for the brick and mortar store. And these lines will say, well, let me show you the photo, the lookbook. Let me show you what the outfit looks like on a child. And I'm like, nope, if it doesn't look good on the hanger, I don't want it. Because the customer that comes into the store, right?
They're not going to look through your lookbook.
They're going to have. And so I think there's a lot of products that probably work better in person or need extra handholding. And we try to go with the products that are going to sell themselves on the PDP. Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense. Okay, you guys are big enough to where you actually might not be able to answer all these questions at this point because now there's other people working on these problems. So, but I'm going to try. We're going to try anyway.
I'm in the weeds.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. So I actually want to break down that 4-month process a little bit. I want to dive into it. So want to start with the trend identification thing. Okay. So is there somebody whose job it is to identify trends? And if so, how do they do it?
My entire marketing team is constantly identifying trends. We have a Slack channel that anybody can contribute to. That's just like, this is cute stuff we've seen or whatever. One thing we really watch for trends for us is the wedding industry, which is kind of funny. I think it's, I'm sure you remember your wife obsessing over her wedding, and then probably a year or two later she was pregnant. So we do find that
10 years later, but
10.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe the colors of your wedding weren't quite mimicking.
Yeah. A little different. Yeah.
But we're just constantly.
But this, I see what you're saying though. This makes a lot of sense. That essentially, like, we got married really young too. So, but this makes sense. So basically, because the wedding is going to be the leading indicator on the trend and like colors and things like that, and on the assumption that those wedding colors are telling you something about what all the new young moms are going to have, because that's who's getting married. That makes tons of sense. That's really clever.
And I think it can even trickle into like large products. Like if you're a toaster brand, you should be paying attention to how people are decorating their homes and what the color aesthetics are, right? That are going into it. So it's not just fashion. I think keeping an eye on the industry in a whole and what influences it is an important part. But to answer your question about who's responsible for it, I think we all are. I still have my hands in product. Like if I could literally come to work and the only thing I worked on, it would be product. And maybe, and I would log into my Meta account. So I'd log into Ads Manager and check that too. But those two things.
You know what's so funny about that? I had Roman Khan on a while back. Do you know Roman?
Yeah.
You know what he told me, right? He's like one of the most successful people I've ever talked to in our space. He's unbelievable and a great dude. And Roman said that basically there's two areas that his organization is amazing at, and it's supply chain and paid acquisition. And he says the reason for that is really simple. The reason we've developed all that, which is that they're the two biggest line items of my P&L. So if all of my money is going towards those things, which essentially is what you're saying, right? Product and your Meta account.
COGS and advertising.
That's like where all your money's going. So you should be freaking great at them. And you as the CEO should understand what's happening in those parts of your business, because that's where all the money is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's the most fun part, right? Like, if I came to work every day, right, and it was the same thing all day, every day, I'd get bored. I just would. Like, it'd be nice every once in a while, but for the most part, that's the exciting part.
That's not why you started a company.
No, but it is great now. I definitely get to scratch my creative itch, right? Like all the time. But so as far as like coming up with trends and even new product ideas, I would say it's a team effort. I mean, my product team is really amazing. And
how big is it?
4 people.
Okay. And then let's say you identified the trend.
Yeah.
How long to design the product?
I mean, usually it's pretty fast, but we're talking, like, are you talking all the way until we get like a sample in office?
I'm thinking the thing you send to get the sample. So that's what I'm interested in. Before you actually get the sample, the actual design that goes to your
I would say
supplier.
Sometimes we come up with ideas on Monday and we have it completely spec'd out and sent to manufacturers on Friday.
Yeah, I would figure it'd be that fast on a 4-month timeline. And you guys also have been doing this for a while, and it's, if you're in categories that you probably know, like you've got real muscles built on these things.
Oh,
that's not surprising
categories
to me.
like just print expansion, right? Expansion on product types that we already have. We do that in our sleep. Yeah. And we've already got planned out through 4th of July next year. So that's easy, right? Like, but when we were smaller, it was not like that, Andrew. Like now it's a well-oiled machine that is super organized and has triggers and Airtable and steps, and everybody has their responsibilities. And it's like this, we pump out new product like crazy, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But when we were smaller, it was just hey, did you send off that email, copying people on emails, making sure we kept communication up with our manufacturers, literally like taking samples home and WhatsApping our manufacturer at night because they're in China and going through photos, sometimes approving things through photos because we're trying to hit deadlines, and like maybe they can't get the product to us fast enough for their sample, or we're color coding. And so, I mean, it was only now is it super organized, but I think back then we didn't let decision-making cripple us either, right? Like we didn't overthink any of it. It was very much, does everyone love this or do they not? And if they didn't, we cut it, no hurt feelings, and move on.
I'm glad you said that about sort of the earlier stage of it. But the reason that I'm curious to pick apart the process as it exists today is not because I think most people are going to have 4 people on their product team who can do this. Like most people listening to this are going to have like an 8-figure business. Is still a big business, right? Or it's the CEO doing it.
Yeah.
But I want people to have an idea of what excellence looks like.
Okay.
And how to get there, because because you're not going to build that overnight. You're not going to, but if you can start to build towards it, it is such, like, especially
it's so
again,
cool.
if you're in apparel, if you're in home goods, if you're in anything fashion, if you're anything like this that has this kind of element of we are moving the business forward by adding products, releasing products, whether it's new designs of existing products or actually entering new categories or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to get great. I mean, like, simple modern, like, totally different space, right? But it's the same game, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and Mike's
how do you
brilliant
release
at it. Yeah.
He's awesome at it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, anybody where that is the model of growth, is adding products to an existing line, needs to hear you talk about what this exists,
what our process now looks like. Okay. So
yeah, I think so, because they're not going to get there overnight, but they may be able to pick apart little parts of it. So from there, so then you go sample, right? I assume. So you send it off, you get sampled. How long till you get a sample back? Like, it's, and I'm actually curious to hear you talk about your relationship with your suppliers. At this point, you guys are pretty big. So I imagine you guys
have
have a very good
relationships.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with multiple suppliers. I would say we
China?
work with probably 10 of our largest SKU, like volume, probably 10 different manufacturers. And some of them are duplicates, like creating the same product, right? So just it helps us create redundancy.
Yeah,
so
right.
If we have maybe a huge holiday PO, but we see a trend coming and we want to rush something to market, then we have the ability to go to different manufacturers, and we have our own production lines through them. So that does help, right? So the bigger you get, the more power you have in negotiating with manufacturers, for sure. And then once we get our final sample, sometimes we'll place our PO before we even have the sample prototype. And actually placing the PO is our trigger for what we call a product launch waterfall. And we use Airtable for it. That's our project management system. And so when a product sample comes back and product team sees it, we approve it. And I'm talking about new product type. So not expansion, like not a new color of a footie or a new color of a romper. Those we're just constantly sending new POs, goes into our launch waterfall, which I'll talk about in a second, but like an actual new product type, like when we launch diaper bags. We get it back. Sometimes it goes back and forth. We've learned early on, the more details you can give at the very beginning, the better.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And you're kind of like, I think as product designers, what we want to be able to do is say, we want to make this. And then we hope the factory can just read our mind. No, definitely not. We don't know who's doing it. If they've got, right. If they're a parent, if it's a guy or a girl. I mean, we try to make sure that our specs are as good as possible. Fun little fact, we've never used CAD, and CAD drawings. Yeah, we're like ghetto. We just Band-Aid everything. It's amazing.
So funny. Yeah.
But also, things don't need to be that complicated. You don't need a whole set of CAD drawings to launch a No, you don't. Draw it on a piece of paper, scan it over, have as many reference photos as you can, as many measurements as you can. Like, the more information you give them, the better. Ask for timelines. So we don't just send things and go, we want samples on this. We hold them to timelines. So we'll say, we want to be able to see this. Can you ship this by Friday? Or, right? Like, we need samples sewn out, these sizes, XYZ. Working with new manufacturers sometimes takes longer. So we try to keep new product types with current manufacturers. And we've done so successfully. Just because you have a manufacturer that's making hats, don't assume they don't know how to make t-shirts, right? Like, they definitely have product depth with that. And then once we get the final sample back in our office and we kind of give everything, sometimes it's not even perfect. Sometimes it's like, well, we want to change the zipper location on this, or we want to change the neckline, or we want to change the color. But we want to get the PO placed so that it's like in line, right? So that we've got a date in like a launch date in mind. And then we put it into Airtable. And the way that we've structured Airtable is it then trickles down. So entering in a product launch into Airtable trickles to all the different areas of our company. So that's operations, it's customer service, it's fulfillment, it's ordering, it's marketing and email, social media. Everybody gets triggered that knows this product is coming down the pipeline. So, and then it has certain dates. So at any different point, like usually we'll get photo samples. So like final samples that we actually use for product photography about a month after we place the PO. And so our creative team will have a trigger that gets sent to them where It has a whole creative brief, what they've got to photograph, lifestyle photos, where it's going. Once they do that, they check their box off, and then it goes out to the different people, the email, social. It's really cool. Like, had I had this 10 years ago, I think my life would have been a lot easier, because before we were just like writing them down on a piece of paper. But now it's so automated, and there's probably, and actually there is ways, a little Twitter thing for you. We've added AI to it. It's
nice.
Yeah, I know. So, and it's helped us. It's helped us a lot too. But yeah, all the way down to when a product is launching, it sends out a notification to everybody in the company so that there's no miscommunication, because I can't tell you how hard it is when you're launching that many new products. Somebody is missing it, right? Or you forget, oh, I forgot to tell so-and-so, or ops needs to know, or finance needs to know this is happening.
Yeah, there's a source of truth for them to go find the information that they need all the way down to customer service and all that stuff. Multiple of my clients are using RICHPANEL as the customer service help desk software for their brands, and you should be using it too. Let me give you 2 reasons why that are very, very simple. The first is that on average, RICHPANEL customers see their customer service tickets go down by 30% when people switch to RICHPANEL. There's a simple reason for that, which is that RICHPANEL's customer self-help portal for your customers to get answers to the questions they need without even contacting your customer service team is so good. And so it helps customers get answers to their questions very quickly, very easily, powered by AI. Everything is powered by AI. RICHPANEL, it's an AI-first company built from the ground up with AI. And that makes your customer service tickets go down, makes it easier for you to run a little bit leaner. On top of that, it gives your customers the best experience possible as they answer their questions quickly and easily. Secondly, on average, or not just on average, RICHPANEL guarantees that they will save you 30% on your customer service software, help desk software bill if you switch from Gordon to Zendesk. So your customers are going to have a better experience. By the way, like the customer ratings on customer service experiences led by RICHPANEL are extremely high, like the star ratings they give to teams. And on top of that, the RICHPANEL is going to save you money. And you put all that together. If your customers are having a better experience, it's saving you money just on the bill itself. It's also making it so that you have a leaner team. Man, there's just no reason not to do it. Well, there could be one reason, which is that it takes forever to switch and the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And except that is not actually a reason. RICHPANEL also guarantees that you can get switched over from your old customer service help desk software to them in 2 weeks or less. They understand you don't have tons of time to waste on this. They've made the onboarding process smooth and easy. Put it all together, and as you enter into 2026, this is the call you should be taking. You should be thinking about starting the year with a cost savings on your books right away. Go check it out. RICHPANEL.com. Tell them that I sent you. RICHPANEL.com to get started with RICHPANEL today. It can scale up with your business. Very large and very small businesses and everybody in between are using RICHPANEL, including huge brands like Ridge and Lomi and Pila. It can scale with you. Go check it out. RICHPANEL.com. When you order, what's the turnaround time from ordering to getting sort of like in stock with however much you order?
Yeah. So I would say it's about 2 months, between 2 and 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the longest part of it for you, right? So you're saying if you can go from idea to product ready to go in 4 months, that means you actually have to go from idea to doing everything, placing the order, etc. in like a month.
Yeah. That's our timeline. So usually it's a month for product discovery and like perfection. And then it's a month in production. And then it's a month on a slow boat from China.
Yeah. Talk to me about your inventory ordering strategy. Like, obviously, especially, if you have a new design of footies or something like that, right? Like you said, like that's probably pretty easy. You probably have some guesswork where it's not too difficult. But of course, one of the challenges with a 6,000 SKU business is SKUs that don't move and suck up your cash. So talk to me about
and we monitor that.
How you guys. I'm sure you do. You can't get to the stage you've gotten to without doing it. You'll be dead.
And it doesn't ever been. I mean, it's bitten us in the butt both ways, right? Like we have for sure launched new product that sells out in days, and we're like, oh God,
dang it.
Yeah. But we've also launched product that we thought was going to crush, and it was like crickets. And
you still have it 15 years later.
No, we don't.
I know. I'm kidding.
You know why? Because we never over order. So a lot of companies will place a PO every 2 weeks. That's how tight. So we keep it very tight. We watch trends very closely. and we move through inventory like crazy so that as much that's coming in is going right back out the door. And it's more work this way, but it does, I think, manage your cash flow better. Because if I had been doing this back when I was wholesale and I was taking store orders 6 months in advance, right? Then I would have to predict, I would know what the stores wanted, but then I'd have to assume that my behavior on my site and the actual like direct to consumer part, I would be making assumptions and I wouldn't have any ability to reorder on, you know, that one ad that goes crazy, right? And that one print that just all of a sudden 10X's overnight. The one thing we do with that though, is when we have products that come out and they're just like bangers, we put products into pre-order status. So we actually let people pre-order it, knowing that they're going to get it in 2 months or whatever. And they wait. And we've A/B tested it like crazy. We know what the conversion rate is on a pre-order versus an in-stock item. But imagine if
it can work great. I've seen brands do this very, very well. The people who hate it typically are like customer service people and stuff like that. It creates all of these like weird accounting things
or POs come in and so we do our own fulfillment. So you can imagine like we'll have a PO come in and have 50,000 items in back order.
Exactly.
And our fulfillment's like, when do these need to go out by? And we're like, tomorrow. So it does, it can create backlogs in fulfillment for sure. But
yeah. 3PLs and customer service, that's who hates it. Or in your case, your fulfillment team.
Totally.
But I understand because it can really, really, really work. Like people, some people are quite happy to click that pre-order button. And now you've just financed your inventory out in front. Exactly.
Totally. And on a cash management
get all the cash.
Yeah. And it helps. And then you can kind of see because you're right. Like if we're ordering a new print for a footie, maybe it's like our Christmas print. We can look back at the prior 5 years and kind of say, okay, last year we sold 2T was our highest volume, right? Like SKU, but we know what our return customer rate is. And we know those kids are going to be in a 3T this year. So we can kind of predict the size and SKU movement on products that are just based off of prints or colors and also based off of trends. Like we kind of know like how much do we sell in 4th of July? How much do we sell in like a cowboy print, like, or football print or whatever. And then when we're testing new concepts, we always pull back a little and we're more conservative because we don't want to be stuck with stale inventory that's aging, right? Like 100, we don't even want aging inventory past 90 days. I mean,
that's awesome.
We run very tight and I would recommend that to anybody. It's tempting, especially if you have a good month, to buy the inventory because you're like, to you, if I have the inventory, I have it to sell, right?
It's opportunity cost. Yeah.
It's opportunity cost, but it can also turn against you so fast.
Yep. This is such an interesting conversation to me because it really does come down to so many different elements between risk tolerance, growth goals, cash on hand, ability to finance things, your terms with your vendor. But I've seen this go really, really badly and really, really awesome in every direction. So I'm actually one friend of mine, also in apparel, pre-COVID had like an inventory buyer on their team who was not very experienced and way overbought inventory on a certain SKU, way overbought, and he's looking at it going like, oh,
what
we
am I
have
gonna
way
do?
too many, right? And then COVID hit, and everybody else is sitting there out of inventory and he is just slinging these at the best CAC he's ever had. And it turned into this giant backlog of inventory, turned into this huge gift for them. You know, I just talked the other day, the Popsmith guys who talked about like, they had 7 months of inventory on hand, very little cash. And then they got on Oprah's favorite things. And 7 months of inventory went away in like a month.
You're telling unicorn stories. Everybody.
Well, I am.
These were unicorn stories. My advice is slow. Look, coming from somebody that's ran a business for 20 years, slow and steady wins the race.
So, but this is the thing is that some people fetishize extremely fast inventory turn for cash purposes.
Yeah.
And they do that because they have this whole idea of it. And then they end up missing real opportunities when in fact they should have just allocated a little more cash in case that moment came. Especially on like your top products and stuff like that. Like there is this thing, like there's this old story that I don't even think was true about Gymshark, like, you know, of having having this like crazy fast, you know, like they had like negative 20 days or 90 days or whatever of cash flow, like in the good way, right? Like they were just fronting all the cash, whatever. There's stories like this where you have 180-day terms with your inventory with your supplier or whatever. But the problem is you can actually miss moments. And so I think what you actually said is the actual real key to me, which is it's not really about just inventory turn necessarily. It's about having reasonable goals where it's like you just become comfortable with the idea that you're going to miss some big moments. And then you allocate enough dollars and a great process, like you just described in detail, to keep releasing product. If you are under ordered for this thing, you put it on pre-order and you're going to release the next product in 2 days. You said you release products twice a week. And it's going to be okay. You're not going to maximize absolutely every moment you ever hit. But if you do that repeatedly, you're going to build a business over time that is like really, really solid and really good and is generating plenty of cash and all those kinds of things. So to me, it's just like I said, like I've just seen the different stories. You are right. Those two stories are like crazy unicorn moments that I told. But I do think people
moment, but
you're right. You shouldn't build for it. But you're totally right. You're totally right. But the point just being that like, I think that so much of it to me is about the willingness to do otherwise. One more quick thing about this. I interviewed somebody the other day who, he said this thing that has really stuck in my head. He said, all of my worst business decisions have come down to either greed or fear. And I think in this case, greed is actually one of them, where it's like, there's this sense of like, I have to go get the money. There's this opportunity. And I understand that. Whereas like that can power you, or it can be like, I'm afraid to ever take a risk. And you can kind of go too far into either of those two categories. And so instead, like having a repeatable process that is trying not to fall prey to either of those, but instead just saying like, how do we take the most good swings we can, feels like the right way. So anyway, that was a rant, but go ahead.
Yeah. And I'd say I probably lean more to the fear side, because I do think we've had the opportunity. I do think I could have grown faster and harder, right? Like at certain moments, like when people say, what do you regret? And I'm like, oh gosh, I do think sometimes I regret not growing faster and harder, but
why?
Well, because it's hard, right? Like e-commerce is really hard.
Yeah.
Now it was hard last year. It's going to be hard next year.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot easier early on. But I would say most of my biggest opportunities missed were because I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like truly, I didn't know that we should be monitoring like an LTV of our customers that we were acquiring. I didn't know, right, that there's all these different ways. I mean, I feel like in e-commerce, we're learning so much and there's so much out there to educate us. And I mean, I didn't know I tell this story a lot. I had $1 million sales tax liability because I didn't know that you could hit Nexus in 50 states that you did not have employees or physical presence in. Now, like I sound like I'm an idiot saying that out loud, but back then I didn't know that. We were growing like crazy and I was like, not my problem. All of our employees are in one state and this is where I think Yeah. And so we had to go back and file and pay back taxes in every single state. That's a huge, costly mistake. But going through that process, I now know more about sales tax than anybody in e-commerce because I had to make spreadsheets to like chase down the entire thing. And I think people need to hear that you're going to make mistakes. And that's how you grow as a company. Like having your inventory planner over order something that it sucks and it's going to cost you money and you're going to have too much product, but it's going to give you the opportunity to sit down with them and explain to them what they did wrong. You're going to see gaps in your own operations, right? Like me as a founder will go in and go, oh my God, like how did I just let this happen, right? Like why were there no checks and balances in the system for this? And I do think that every screw up, you have to look at it as an opportunity to learn something new to make your business better. Yeah,
I really think you're right about that. There's a way. First of all, I've known another founder who made the exact same mistake. So
a lot of people do. I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not actually a crazy mistake at all. But
I did, for any state that's listening, I did go back and pay all of it. So
don't come chase down Katy's store.
Don't come chase us down. I swear to you.
You got your money. Yeah.
Yeah, I paid $1 million. I'm good. Yeah.
I actually sometimes am nervous about this because I release 2 podcasts a week and tweet and stuff like that. That the net effect of that is that sometimes is that it'll just be like another voice telling you you have to work harder, do better, like get everything right. And if you don't do that, then you're not good,
No, but that's not what you should be calling. It's not.
I know. It's not the thing that I am actually saying to anybody. It's just that I know that there's so many voices doing these things and saying what to do all the time that it actually becomes so overwhelming and hard to sort through.
Yeah.
And it can, and if you sort of see all of these things, then it can feel like at any given time that you are an idiot if you're doing it wrong.
That's right. And if you're listening to all the podcasts and you're on Twitter, it's only people telling you the good stories. I know. Like, it's kind of like when you get on Instagram and you scroll through all your friends, like from high school, and everyone looks happily married. No, they're not. Like, it's.
I like that analogy a lot, actually. Everybody recognizes. I've never heard anybody make that exact analogy, but everybody recognizes that's true, like on Instagram.
Yeah.
But they don't. And they're always like, we all know that's like the shiny picture about like your baby, crap through the diaper right before that photo, whatever. Right.
And so you're like, everyone hates each other in your family Christmas picture. And the husband was mad and the wife's furious and the kids are screaming and everyone's right. But in that one
and then they smile. Right. Yeah.
In that one moment, you have that perfect smile. I promise you, it is the exact same thing in running your business. And
okay, give me one. Give me a mistake recently, Katie. Let's break the mold. I'll give you one. You give me one too. You just told me the sales tax one. Give me a good one recently that you learned something from. Mistake you made that you learned something from. You gave me the sales tax one. I'm going to pitch you for one more, and I'm going to think of
I got to pick a good one. Literally, like, we break things all the freaking time. Like, even if as a really well-ran business, like with, okay, let me think of a really good screw up. There's a lot. We've had, so this isn't super recent, but we have had, because we've been talking about product. We have had product where we actually had a PO and we placed the PO, went through the whole thing. We received the entire PO and the entire print was upside down. Like, literally upside down. And we all looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, what do we do? Well, we had been placing, I think we had been taking pre-orders on it.
Yeah.
We shipped it. Do you know, we did not have a single customer return the upside down print.
That is amazing. Yeah. That is so good.
So, and it's like when stuff like, and then I can tell you another one. You want this one? Okay. I told it. Yeah. Well, I told it at ECF. This just happened too. Christmas is huge for us. Like, Caden Lane is known for matching family Christmas pajamas, right? And we launched them mid-August. Well, like literally 2 weeks after our launch, one of our shippers comes into my director of operations office and says, we have a problem. And I was actually out of town the day this happened. I was in Austin teaching a class at the University of Texas. And my CFO was with me and she didn't even tell me it at the time. So this shipper that just happened to stop what they were doing, and they noticed that our competitor's tag was on our pajamas. So one of our factories,
holy cow,
who probably runs the same line of production for a different,
that's
had taken
crazy.
The competitor's tag. So you can imagine we had ordered 100,000 units, right, of this one thing. Everyone, my director of operations goes ghost white. They text my CFO. I'm in the middle of presenting at the university. And when I was done, she went to me and she's like, I have to tell you something. And I was like, she goes, it's really bad. It's like really bad. And I was like, what? And she told it to me and I was like, well, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But, so it turns out, like, they went down. Turns out it was just like...
You screamed at her and fired her on the spot?
No.
Cussed her out?
You know what?
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Shit happens. Like, I'm here to tell you that shit happens in business. Yeah. And if you can't roll with the punches, you are never going to survive. Yeah. Because it truly happens. Like, thank the Lord, it was not as bad as we thought it was going to be. It was just one box, and we ripped a new one to our manufacturer. We're like,
of course, that's the person you yelled at. I recently, a couple months ago, made an error on a formula in a spreadsheet for a brand's forecast by which they managed their cash flow, and the cash was pretty tight. They were pushing it pretty hard on the gas, and it was like a straight up formula error. They just hadn't checked closely enough. And when I fixed it, it showed like, oh, you're going to like run out of cash in like a month or two or something like that.
And you had to tell them, or they caught it?
Yeah, no, I told them. Yeah, for sure.
Tail tuck, man. Did you sleep that night?
Yeah. You know why? Because I only work with clients who are reasonable people, and who so.
But it's still scary, right?
But there's also for sure. Yeah. It didn't feel good. I've had plenty of those moments, but I just learned that like you actually, if you made them, I mean, they were going to be in the cash flow document at some point anyway. So like if they saw it change, they were going to like, no. So it was like, and it like created a really big problem in the business. And it was just like, it's the kind of thing I pride myself in, as being sort of like oriented around being financially literate in businesses and, providing this great service on this.
You can do the math on a 20-year business. Hold on. I'm calling you out because you literally
get somebody else. I couldn't subtract by 20.
Started in 1995. The math's not mathing. Somebody working on people's spreadsheets.
That's why you have the formula do it, because it gets it right every time. But apparently, if you get the formula wrong,
unless the person entering in the formula does it wrong.
Yeah, it was really bad.
You know what that reminds me of? Your point that you said, and it's part of our work culture here. And I guess for anyone listening, I'd encourage them to tell this to their team too. I never want somebody on my team to be scared of telling me something that they messed up or did wrong. Yeah. And so I always tell them, you will never be in trouble if you come and tell me that you messed up. But if I find out that you messed up and you didn't tell me, that's when I'm going to get really upset. And and I make a conscious effort. Like my product designer came in here probably a month or two ago. She was in tears. And I was like, oh, my stomach drops. I'm like, oh shit, what?
Something must have really gone wrong. Yeah.
They had messed up a PO, left off sizes. Like it was not good. And it was on a big launch. And I said, okay, that's okay. Thank you for telling me. I immediately asked her, how do we fix this? Because I do think it helps, like with your team, like as executives and the founders, like usually like we like problem solving, right? Like that's like our forte. And I think that we naturally are just the problem solvers, but we're not doing our teams any advantage by not helping them how to figure out the problems too.
Yeah.
And so we kind of worked through it, and she was like, well, what if we do this and I can get this here this fast? And it was fine. And it was a small hiccup. Yeah. I mean, did it cost us something at launch? Yes, probably.
Sure.
So. In the long run, she's probably never going to do it again. You
know?
That's
right. In the long run, having a teammate who will be honest with you and knows that you're not going to bite her head off if that happens is actually much more valuable to the business.
Yes. Because you know why she's going to tell me when she messed up, and she's also got the company's best interest at heart. And I want a team where they're all like, they're not like, well, that's not my department, not my problem. Right. Like we're all in this together.
Ownership. Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's the cool part about econ too. So like maybe not on Twitter, they're not doing it, but I'm in several groups of like founders where we all share the bad and the good. And man, that's the best part. Like, right. We're all human. We're all screwing it up.
People are making mistakes. All right, Katy, any last things that are just like you're super, super hot on right now, or you're just excited about, like big thing, little thing, leadership thing, strategy thing, tactical thing, product thing, anything at all? I just like to ask people who are sort of running their businesses every day. I know different little things kind of come and occupy your mind space at a time. You heard something somewhere, you saw something in your team, anything that's just a last little nugget that's top of mind for you. And if the answer is no, then that's okay too. But
I mean, I'm excited. Like I'm excited about all of it. I mean, we're recording this like weeks before Black Friday. So my anxiety is at an all-time high right now. Like I already have anxiety over next Black Friday. Like literally, I'm like, well, if we hit these numbers, then next year we have to hit these other numbers. And so you're asking the wrong person this question.
Okay.
I'm super excited about leadership. I mean, I kind of just talked about it a little bit. We've invested a lot in our leadership team in the last year or two, and including bringing in a coach, and it has paid off. I mean, I have watched some of my executives just grow like crazy. And these are people that started with me in hourly positions and are now running teams in my marketing department. And it's been very rewarding for me. And it's been a really big unlock for my team. So I would say if you get the opportunity, I mean, as easy as reading a book, but as founders, I think we have a responsibility to help develop our teams too, especially if we're hiring young ones. Yeah.
I like that a lot. Katy, thank you so much for taking time on this a few weeks before Black Friday. I know it's a busy time. I really appreciate it a lot. And this is a great conversation.
We learned so much. We learned that you can't do math. So
Jeez, never gonna live that down. Yeah.
No.
I thought you were not supposed to destroy people for making a mistake, Katy. Come on.
I don't. Yeah.
I'm kidding. Make all the jokes you want. It's fine. I'm totally joking. It's fine. Okay, thank you very much. If you need baby stuff, go to cadenlane.com. CADEN. And go think about managing all those SKUs and how hard it would be, and how impressive of a thing that Katy has built is. It's holiday time, Black Friday time. Go get some baby goods. I asked Katy, is there anything you want to promote? She's like, I'm not on Twitter, so just go to cadenlane.com and go buy something. And that'd be a way to say thanks for her spending an hour of her time talking with you. If you would like to follow up with me, podcast at ajfgrowth.com is the place to do that. You can also go to ajfgrowth.com if you want to work with us and see everything else that we are doing. We're going to be opening up spots for new clients in the beginning of 2026 at some point. If you want to talk about if you're the right fit for that, you can do that. It'll be fairly selective, a smaller group, but that's why getting the conversation going earlier is better. Big thanks to Move Supply Chain and to RICHPANEL for sponsoring this episode. Big fan of both of them. So go check them out. The links for everything is in the show notes. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.